It is out with the old and in with the new. Today I'm going to be explaining why I've chosen this awning rail as opposed to some of the others, often cheaper ones available, and why not only this specific brand, but this specific supplier. There is a difference, not all of them are equal. I will be showing you how to fit it and some tips to make sure that you fit it properly, because some fitments can fail. This is a part that many campervan owners will have in one shape or form. And like all things campervan, there are many different options at many different price points. For instance, the one which I had was just a simple C-channel rail, cheap and cheerful, serves a purpose, but as I'm making improvements to my van, this is definitely one of them which I needed to make quite soon, and more of some other ones which I am going to be making in the near future, coming up a little bit later on in the video. I've got the Remo or Rimo rail, not exactly sure how you say it, so I do apologise Rimo, if I've said it wrong. This is the multi-rail, and as such is capable of handling various different awnings with various fitments, canopies, tent awnings, wind-out awnings. It's multifunctional as it additionally acts as a gutter for the water running off the roof. That's even in the description of the advertisement when you buy it. We know Remo are high-end product manufacturer, as seen in lots of other components they have, like the popped-up roofs, with the electric operated one being my personal favourite, and also the Veriotech sliding bed. The multi-rail is no exception to this, but this has been improved, made even better by the supplier. Not all these multi-rails which are supplied in the UK are equal, because the supplier, in this case CMC Campers, enhance the rail by placing them on a jig before they come out to you, ensuring that they're shaped exactly to the contours of the van, giving them the form they need to fit properly. You might have seen with some of the non-CMC camper rails, as we call them, that they have to be pulled into the van by tightening the screws. But this rail is much better shaped for better fit. It isn't being forced into a position that it doesn't want to go. CMC Campers, a well-established company, over 35 years in fact. They're a type-approved converter, accredited by Volkswagen. They've also got ISO 9001 and are the only official Remo converter in the UK. So they do know what they're doing. They've actually got an open weekend next weekend, the 15th and 16th of June, with amongst savings on converted vans, an awning sale. They've got test drives, a barbecue lunch, and they're also offering free fitting on multi-rails, although you must book in advance for that. Worthwhile doing if you want it fitted professionally, as you can make mistakes yourself, and I'm going to be explaining that today. So, my installation. Well, my rail arrived and I was really keen to install it so I could try out my new awning. Yes, I've finally got it. I have a brand new awning, so look out for that coming soon. And I knew that I had a few dry days, seemingly probably before 2 weeks of rain. Although I do say that, I've actually got it out today and it has already been raining this morning. So I had everything I needed to complete the install. The only thing I didn't have was primer. So I went online to buy some, but the delivery dates were not even this week, and therefore I needed to find some from someone else who I could use, because I obviously only needed a little bit. Now, I'm lucky where I live. There are several different people who could have helped me out here, but as I knew I would be passing extremely close to slide pods, I thought I'd give them a try first. So I explained to them what I needed, and the conversation took a bit of a twist. He explained some tips for fitting and even said that they'd help me and show me if I wanted the help. And oh yeah, they did actually have some primer as well. I was intrigued with these tips and always happy to take some advice from people who actually do things on a daily basis, that I took up their offer. So the next day I visited them for help, which actually turned out to be a case of them fitting it whilst I watched on and just filmed it, obviously. Now, before the rail could be installed, the van needed to be clean, so I gave it a good wash and I used some panel wipe to ensure that there was no waxes, oils or anything else present, so to make sure that the rail had bond properly. I'd gone to all that effort of getting some primer to make sure it's done properly. Certainly needed to make sure I did that as well, which is extremely basic step. So the first step was to place some masking tape on the van where the rail's going to sit. This helps to mark the screw holes and also in the drilling of them. It's much easier to draw a mark on tape rather than it is on a painted surface, especially like mine when it's black. No matter what colour Sharpie you use on a black van, it's still not going to be clear to see. So using the masking tape just makes it far easier to mark these drill holes. Now, there are various different ways of actually doing this next bit, and to be honest with you, if I'd have done it myself, then I would have done it very differently. But what they do is they take the front rubber section and join it to the rail, just temporarily, just using tape. This is offered up to the van, and then the drill holes can be marked off from there. So mark off all the drill holes and you're ready to prepare. But before we do that, there is an additional strip of masking tape to be added, and this is the genius method of the process. This tape is to catch the metal swarf when the holes are being drilled. It's attached at the bottom only, and then it's folded back so it catches that metal. Really simple thing to do, but yet it's very, very effective. The holes are then drilled as we've just marked them off. When the holes are drilled, the tape is peeled off, taking all the waste with it. So you're not having to mess around by getting it out if you've not got any other method like an air blower or anything. I personally don't have one of them, so I'd have had to think of something different. So doing it that way was a perfect way of getting rid of all that swarf. These holes are now exposing bare metal, so primer is going to be used in these holes to make sure that it obviously protects it a bit more. It's also going to be used along the whole of the strip and at the back of the rail before the bond is added. The bond is placed in a line along the back of the rail with a few larger blobs being a technical term, where the screws are going to go in, just for that extra security of watertightness. This is ready to be put in place and held securely by the supplied screws. This obviously is made to look really, really easy, especially as there's two of them doing it. It's far easier for me just to sit back and watch it. Once in place and the screws are tightened, there's going to be some excess bond. This can be easily removed with a cloth, thick tissue, and then the remnants moved with the panel wipe again. Next, the rubber front section can be placed, and this can be a part that can cause some people a few problems. Firstly, there is a 3M backing for this, for it to be secured. However, it is recommended that some bond is placed at the very, very end, the tip of it, as this is where some can actually become unstuck if it isn't done properly. As seen here, this is clamped down so it can cure properly before the van is moved. And more on that in a moment. We then move to the back of the van and place the end cap, which just tidies up that look of that end and obviously protects that exposed aluminium, the part which isn't anodized. Firstly by using the primer and then the bonds to fix it in place. And that's it, pretty much done. But next comes a potential mistake that a lot of people make, unfortunately, far too eager to get that van out. And that mistake is driving the van when it hasn't been properly bonded. This front section here, it can start peeling away. It's prone to peeling away if it hasn't been left to settle for a period of time. It should be left in place for 24 hours, ideally with a clamp like this. Or, like me, I needed to take the van, so we've actually got it covered in tape. There's tape in several different sections here, making sure that it's secure so I can actually get it home without it coming off. I'm going to take it off later because I don't think it looks particularly stylish. And now I have this rail looking really, really good. I think I need to do something with these wind deflectors. They need to be changed for something a little bit more slimline. Heck, I'll do some nice slimmer ones which look far better than the ones I've got. So I'm going to be replacing those along with a few other changes. I've also got my badgeless grille, which I need to fit around the front. I need some new front mud flaps because one of them's actually disappeared. I might change the sidebars also because some of them are looking a little bit kind of aged in a few places, so I might change them, or maybe just give them a respray. The wheels also, I think these need coating because when the van's looking really nice and shiny like it is now, they just look a little bit dull, so something needs to be done with them. And then around the back, that rear bumper protector is absolutely horrendous. That really does need changing. It's just dull and manky and horrible. And then also, not quite outside, but just on the inside, the door seals, they've just got a little bit worn over time. You know, when you're doing the carpeting and things like that, it kind of wears them a little bit. So they're going to need replacing as well. So I'm going to get them replaced. So these changes are going to be coming soon. So if you want to see any of those, then do subscribe to see them. But back to this particular rail and why I've got this one when there are cheaper options available. Well, the Remo brand is a really well-respected brand, renowned for its high-quality products. And this product being completely no different. The rail is high quality, and it certainly looks it. The rubber section at the front isn't cheap material. The finish is good, and it will maintain really well. It won't be for everyone, and I'm sure that some of you have gone for the cheaper options, as they will for other components in your van. You're not going to be getting the Remo popped up. You might be going for one of the cheaper brands. Everybody's different in the choices. But if you're looking for quality, then at £234, the cheaper ones are not even that much cheaper anyway. Plus, I've got a discount code for you, which you can use to make it even cheaper. And I will confirm that I do not receive a penny from using that discount code. I get absolutely nothing from it. So the only beneficiary from it is actually yourselves, and you can save £10 by using Staycation. Although I think it might only be valid till the 14th of June, not exactly sure. I don't care if you use it or not. It doesn't benefit me, but it's just an extra £10 in your pocket if you was going to be buying one of these. I'm going to use this rail a lot when it's properly bonded, of course. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want it to be falling off. I can't wait to get out my new awning. So subscribe if you want to see that, find out what it is, and also for my fire pit campervan conversation videos soon. I've got no excuse now. I've got a proper awning rail, which is there permanently. I've got an awning, so even if it's raining, I can still carry on with them. Anyway, in the meantime, if you didn't see, the slide pod, the sleeping and the kitchen system, which they've got, an alternative option for your camper van, then have a look at that video here. Thanks for watching, take care, and I hope to see you soon.